So good morning, Forge family. Well, both words are very precious to me, and I'll allow myself to do a couple of testimonies. So one of the images I will leave this conference is the fire forging the metal was on the screen. And yesterday Colin said, Anatol, do you know what really forge means? He actually didn't say that, but that's exactly what he meant. I don't mean like ironing or sharpening, like the Bible talks about iron sharpening iron. We mean forge. So you'll be forged tomorrow by leading this session. I said, okay, but we will be in a room and we will all be forged, all right? So, well, for me, actually, you really mean family. And for the last 7 years, I've been on a journey. Maybe some of you know, I transitioned from the corporate world into something like being sent home to Moldova to start something that I think most of us envision for the next years to become thriving communities. Well, I come from a large family. I'm pretty wealthy. I have 4 sisters, 1 brother, and my extended family 7 years ago, all, as many other Moldovans, about 1/3 of the Moldovans now live abroad. We lost a lot of people and we experienced a huge brain drain. But my family was also on the path, and I was part of the package to live to the United States, as 2 of my sisters were citizens. And as clear as crystal, I realized that's not the way. I should stay behind. So I had total peace about it, and God spoke in many ways and guided me that at least for the next season, indefinite, my place is in Moldova. And I came from a large company, 22,000 people. I was in the corporate, so it was a major radical transition. But you know, obeying the Lord in those circumstances is pleasant and is beautiful, and He answers. So my mom would call me sometimes because we couldn't see each other for nearly 2 years. And she felt like, well, I do feel like we almost abandoned you staying in Moldova, but I was actually fine. I was living the journey that God promised. But one thing that was extremely rewarding, God gave me multiple family members that shared the same vision and values, including you. And one of the coolest things, I never was really actively looking to get new family members, but brothers and sisters around the world, we crossed paths in many ways, including like many of you, like Toby, Derek, Malcolm, and many of you. So for me, honestly, you are family, and I really love you and treasure you. And I think today, I hope you experience the same as a family. How do we go from here to see national movements, national ecosystems thriving and just fostering that heaven touching earth and just be a blessing and bring transformation? Well, how does that look like? I think most of us don't know. But we'll find out. I think the synergy in this room, I think it's powerful. We have national leaders, we have entrepreneurs, we have capacity builders, we have Angelo Tribe members, and I think we'll walk out with some really cool ideas, and maybe even with working groups. How do we go from here that in the next 5-10 years, we have a clearer picture how our nations will be blessed by well-anchored in local churches, entrepreneurs that will bring blessing to our nations. So our work will consist in 2 parts. First, I think we'll get some insights from where we are, from where most of our entrepreneurs are in different parts in the 4 corners of the world. So we'll do like a firing 5-minute presentation from each of us, just understanding, okay, what's the vision of that particular nation? What is the experience, and what are maybe even the challenges? And after 1 hour of hearing what really the world brings to the table, we'll break out in 4 sessions, again, 4 corners of the world, 4 round tables. And we will discuss, okay, what is the vision, what we are experiencing as challenges, but how can we contribute? And what is the roadmap? And maybe we'll create even working groups that for the next 6 months will take the challenge to designed to be architects of our national movements. So that's the goal for today. I know most of entrepreneurs are problem solvers, not problem makers, and we love solving problems. So today is an opportunity for us to solve that. Okay, how really the ecosystem will look like. Well, another thing that really will stay with me, what Amy shared, we have to listen a lot. We have to listen to the Lord, to each other. And what I learned, business strategies help, but God doesn't light the highway, He lights the pathway. So the idea that we don't know how it's look, nobody is really an expert, is actually great. We are totally dependent on God, right? And He will light the pathway. And when we'll look back, it may look like a highway. But today, we will be working on it, okay? Just discerning what is the next step and having a clear vision, or at least an aspiration. How do we want in the next 5-10 years that our national movements will bless our countries? I'll start with our little presentation. It's a very young, very fragile, I would say, but I think getting very robust, and I'm very appreciative of everyone who contributed to give direction, shape, wisdom as we continue to build an ecosystem in a country really plagued by corruption and brain drain and communism and so on. But you'll see, I think in the video, there is much hope, there is much light in the darkness, and I love it. Hopefully there is sound.
Is to see a movement of faith-driven entrepreneurs transforming their businesses, their cities, and their countries for kingdom purposes. We aspire together to support, equip, and empower other Christian entrepreneurs to multiply the transformative potential of their businesses. As a community, we want to focus on 3 areas of support. First, we are creating channels of mentorship from a global community of experienced and competent first-generation entrepreneurs in a country still struggling to transition out of Soviet communism. Secondly, ways for impact through access to new external markets in a country that has been historically, politically, economically, and geographically isolated. Though Moldova is the poorest country in Europe, it shares a border with the wealthiest market in the world, the EU, with over 500 million buyers. Third, we are fostering access to capital. With interest rates approaching 30% and difficult financing tools for SMEs, we see the opportunity to funnel financial resources to help those businesses grow. Our goal is to connect Western faith-driven entrepreneurs with our local entrepreneurs to create joint ventures in order to meet mutual economic needs and in the process exchange wisdom, values, and best practices for the purpose of transforming lives. Vlad Gate, owner of the DeVitro Company. We are one of the leading companies in our industry, and yet I have always struggled to know how to truly serve God through my business. I used to think that the only avenue of transformation was traditional ministry, but God eventually showed me that I can serve Him right where I am in business. In fact, God showed me that much of what I was already doing was indeed transforming people's lives. Today, almost 50 of my 60 employees are former alcoholics and drug addicts, and I have the privilege of witnessing firsthand what an impact a business can make for the kingdom of God. As for me, I understand that God has given us all a mandate to influence society for the better, and that business is one of those conduits of influence. I did not start a business in order to make money, but to fulfill a God-given dream of helping others succeed. Now, I thank God that I have the privilege of living that dream every day in what has been the most awesome adventure of my life. Our dream now is for this fledgling community to grow into a robust international platform for our fellow countrymen to be transformed through the pioneer work of building bridges of relationships with experienced and enterprising brothers and sisters around the world.
So, thank you. As you know, the world is divided into two, right? Those who have been to Moldova and those who have not. Okay, I would like to invite the region of Europe now. So we'll have for each region of the world, we'll have a team leader, and they will serve us in leading the conversations and the brainstorming sessions in the part 2. But my dear brother Ruben from Romania, let's meet him with a round of applause.